The writer of these impious words is here today. Euripides, disciple of... Indeed, Socrates. And among those prosecuted for blasphemy, there was the philosopher Anaxagoras, who contended that the sun was a red-hot stone and the moon was made of earth. Whereas, as we all know, they are really traditional Athenian deities. And who was it who studied with Anaxagoras? Socrates again. Oh, and there was Protagoras, who contended that man, not the gods, is the measure of all things. And who professed admiration for Protagoras? Socrates. You might recall that Protagoras was a sophist, one of that accursed crew of so-called philosophers, usually foreigners, who could speak learnedly on a subject whether they knew anything about it or not, who for money could teach you to make the worst side of an argument appear the better, so you could get ahead. Always arguing and questioning, these sophists destroyed men's faith in the old truths and made our young people clever, but not wise. And who was the greatest questioner and arguer of them all? Socrates! Yes, Socrates.
I thought, well, neither of us knows anything really beautiful or profound, but at least I am better off than this fellow, because he knows nothing and thinks he knows everything, while I know nothing. So I went from one person to another in search of a wise man. This inquiry man of Athens has made me many enemies, but it has led me to believe that only the gods are wise. And the oracle used my name by way of illustration. What he meant is he is wisest who, like Socrates, knows that his wisdom is worth nothing. And what my enemies will never admit is that they're really angry because their pretense of knowledge has been shown up. Perhaps you think I'm defying you in what I say? This is not so. I speak thus because I'm convinced that I've never intentionally harmed anyone. Why should I then suggest a penalty that would harm me? What shall I say? Imprisonment? Why should I languish in prison? A fine. I would still have to lie in prison because I have no money. Exile. I would be blinded by love of life if I expected that when you, my fellow citizens, cannot stand my words, that strangers would be likely to endure them. There are some who will say, yes, Socrates, but can't you hold your tongue? Then you could go to a foreign city and no one would interfere with you. I'll have trouble making you understand my answer to this. For if I tell you that to hold my tongue would be disobedience to the gods, you wouldn't believe I'm serious. And if I tell you that daily conversation about virtue and the other things I talk about is a great benefit to mankind, you'd be still less likely to believe me. And if I declare that the unexamined life is not worth living, then you would certainly laugh. Yet what I say is so.
Socrates, son of Sophronicus, the penalty for the crimes of which you stand convicted is death.
And so the hour of departure has come, and we go our separate ways. I to die and you to live. Which is better? God alone knows.
Athens, 399 BC. The philosopher Socrates has been condemned, and his execution has just taken place. Friends of Socrates discuss his death.
We were all there. The guard, who was sympathetic, released him from his chains. I have never seen him calmer. He tried to probe the nature of death and immortality with us. But I felt that even he, with all the power of his mind, could not illuminate that darkness. And then Crito abruptly asked, "In what way shall we bury you?" And he answered, "In any way you like.
But hold me and make sure I don't run away. I cannot make Crito believe I'm the same Socrates who's been conversing with you. He thinks I'm already the other Socrates you'll soon see, a dead body. And he asks, how shall we bury you? I see my words with which I've been comforting you and myself have had no effect on Crito. Be of good cheer, friend Crito, and say you're burying my body only. Do with that whatever is usual and as you think best."
He then requested that the poison be prepared and brought. The guide told him to drink deeply, walk until his legs grew heavy, and then to lie down, and the poison would act. Such was the end of our friend. Of all men I have known, he was the wisest, the most just, and the best.